understand what we're dealing with. We have 9 people who are here today. People outside. So if anybody's interested in joining a support group in this area, D.C., Maryland, or Virginia, speak to me. There's unfortunately not enough of them in the country. We did a study in the state of Virginia a few years ago, and we had Governor McDonnell at that time sign a proclamation, and we put it through the Department of Health in Virginia, and we estimated that there were 500,000 people just in the state of Virginia that had a form of neuropathy, 500,000, based on the number that the Neuropathy Association once came up with, that there are about 45 million Americans that have diabetes, and about half of them have neuropathy. So they estimated maybe 25 million Americans have neuropathy. And so just in the state of Virginia, 500,000. And we're the only support group in the entire D.C. metro area. So there's probably thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people around the country that really could use the benefit of a support group and certainly could benefit from medication and treatment and other alternatives. And unfortunately, this isn't the forum for it. There's a tremendous amount of underfunding to study neuropathy. At the NIH, a $5 billion budget, they spend about $150 million a year on neuropathy compared to Alzheimer's and epilepsy and stroke and other neurological diseases. Neuropathy is an orphan disease. It doesn't get very much attention, and yet it affects millions of people. And it seems to be increasing in recent years. Younger and younger people are coming down with it. I mean, I'm 71, but we have people in our group that are in their 20s and 30s, and that's really sad for me that they're that young and they're getting this disease, and there's really not enough basic research going on. It's what is causing the disease? Why does it progress? Just saying it's caused by diabetes, or it's just dealing sort of with the surface symptoms of it, but there's very little money being spent on basic underlying research as to what is causing neuropathy and why does it persist in this society. And people say, assuming there's no cure, well, why shouldn't there be a cure? There should be a cure for it. And why isn't more attention being given to it? And there should be more attention. If members of Congress had neuropathy, maybe we would get more funding for it. I don't know. They don't want to admit that they have it, I guess. But I'm sure there are probably dozens of members of Congress that have peripheral neuropathy, but they haven't spoken about it. So.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you. Okay, so I know we have a few people waiting on the phone. I'm gonna tee up the phone here, and we'll get to them in just a minute here. Let's go to our scenario question, which is coming up next. Okay, so we're going to do a short scenario, and what this is I'm going to read you just a very short blurb. It really doesn't contain a lot of information, and I know that information is very important. But after I read this, I want you to just tell us the first thoughts that come to mind. It could be a question, it could be a comment, it could be a decision. Whatever it may be is perfectly fine, but we just want to hear from you. So imagine that a new medication to treat neuropathic pain associated with peripheral neuropathy has recently been approved by FDA. Your doctor believes that you may be a good candidate for this medication. In the clinical trials that were conducted, 1/2 of adults treated for 12 weeks had a 50% reduction in their pain. Common side effects of this medication include nausea, fatigue, and weight gain. Rare but serious side effects of this medication include nerve damage and liver damage. The medication is unlikely to be addictive or to be used for abuse, such as to get high. So, hearing this very, very short piece of information, what are the first thoughts that come to mind when hearing this scenario? And what kind of questions would you ask your doctor about this new treatment for neuropathic pain? It's just, again, it could be a question, it could be a comment, anything is okay. Lawrence?
I think this is a great scenario. I think what would be important is I'd want to know what the protocols are. I would like this medication, but I'd want to know what the protocols are when I start it, what do I do before, what do I do it during, and what I do it and how long after to look for the nerve damage or liver damage. Are they going to follow me by enzymes? What's been the experience? That would be my point.
Okay, thank you, Lawrence. Others? Adam?
Yeah, I think Lawrence made some excellent points there. The only point that I would add is I'd be curious to know the statistical likelihood of the serious side effects. Rare is an awfully vague term. So that'd be the big one for me.
Thank you. You want to, yep, sure.
My name is Kathleen, and I'd be interested to know how many people were in this study and if there had been any longer-term studies, because 12 weeks isn't really very long, to see if there's any long-term effects.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other thoughts before I'll turn to the FDA panel? Any other questions? Okay, great. Okay, so why don't we take some phone calls? I know we've had some people patiently waiting. Operator, would you mind dialing in with the first caller?
Yes, the first caller with a comment is Bruce Stewart. Your line is now open.
Hello. Thank you for taking my call. I just would like to say that, I live in Florida, and due to the DEA's aggressive approach to, policing opioids, I was unable to fill my prescription, and I basically was run out of the state of Florida because each pharmacy was left to their own devices as far as, not serving their clients, and even long-term clients such as myself. I'm out in Nevada, and there are ceilings at the Las Vegas pain clinics that I go to where I take OxyContin 10 milligrams. I am likely to take a higher dose, but I've declined it because, like one of the women said before, I'm kind of afraid, where do I turn, 10 or 15 or 20 years from now. I'm 55. And I just wanted to say that they're only allowed to dispense 4 pills a day, regardless of the medication. I take gabapentin, I take tramadol, I take Cymbalta, and I take the Oxy. And this medicine is only rated to last, 4 to 5 hours, but we're expected to make it stretch over a 24-hour period, and which is pretty distressing because, if you do a simple multiplier, it's 4 hours a piece, 4 pills, and that's 15 hours. I mean, what do you do with the rest of the day? And that's one of the dilemmas I've had, and a lot of people have had with the DEA crackdown. And I just would like to see opioids, the conversation about opioids open up because, I don't get high off of it. I'm in severe pain. I have sensory neuropathy in my feet, and it just attacks the pain, and it makes it, makes me able to go about my daily business.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Graham, we'll take one more caller. So operator, one more caller, please.
The next comment in the queue is from Janet Montalvo. Your line is now open.
Hello.
Yep, we can hear you, Janet.
Hi. Yeah. I have neuropathy.
So now we can't hear you, Janet. So can you, yep, can you maybe speak a little bit louder into the phone?
Okay, I'm sorry about that. Okay, I was diagnosed with months ago, but I've been suffering from it for a few years, back and forth. I was suffering from it. It was called a misdiagnosis. I traveled from different states to find out what I had, and finally here in Florida, the doctors, the neurologist told me it was neuropathy. It was hard to find out what it was because I didn't have diabetes. So it was harder for the neurologist to find out what it was.
And Janet, can you tell us very quickly what you would look for in an ideal treatment?
Ideal treatment. Right now, I am doing therapy at home. I am real thin about due to I can't really walk that much. I am taking medication because I am taking calabantin, which is Neurontin, 36 milligrams, 3,600 milligrams. I'm taking Togomax. I'm taking Togomax,
Okay.
I'm taking Cymbalta. I'm taking what is the other medication? I am taking a whole bunch of other medications that I can't really remember right now.
That's okay. Thank you so much, Janet. Thank you for sharing those comments. We appreciate it. Okay, so I'm going to stop in just a minute here. I just want to thank everybody for all of your comments. Again, I know we didn't get to everything, but please go to the public docket. Please enter your comments there. They're very, very important, and that's a way to continue the discussion. At this point, and again, thank you all for being here. It was so important to us and wonderful to hear everything that you've had to say. So I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Meghna, for the open public comment period now. Meghna?
Hi, everyone. I want to thank you all again for coming today and staying with us till Friday at 5 p.m. And thank you so much for sharing all your wonderful stories with us. They've been very insightful and informative. We're now going to be moving on to the open public comment session. And for those of you that are not aware, the purpose of this session is to allow an opportunity for those who have not had a chance to speak on issues that are not related necessarily to our two main discussion topics. This is also an opportunity for participants who are not patients or patient representatives to comment as well. Please keep in mind that we will not be responding to your comments, but they will be transcribed and be a part of the public record. Since we would like to be transparent, we encourage you to note any financial interests that you have that are related to your comment. If you do not have such interests, you may state that for the record as well. And if you prefer not to provide this information, you may still provide your comments. We have collected 6 folks who are interested in providing their comments, and we have about 10 minutes. So if we could have about 2 minutes per speaker, that would be great. And I am going to be a little strict with time as well. If you start approaching the 2-minute time limit, I will ask you to start wrapping up. So first, we have James Yadlon. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing anyone's name. If we could get a mic to James, please.
First of all, I want to thank the FDA for doing this. This is an incredible afternoon, very educational. Second, the panel, the ladies and gentlemen on the panel, with your courage and your incredible stories are just mind-boggling, and I commend you and wish you the very best in the future. I'm on the board of directors of the GBS Foundation, and I had GBS 42 years ago. I was totally paralyzed. For the last 42 years, I've had very sore feet, and they hurt. But what I'd like to take a minute or so to do is read a couple of the comments from our members who I solicited. I said, please put in one sentence your description of your pain. So I'm going to read a couple. I know you just stop me when you want to stop me. It feels like I put my feet into scalding water and dealing with the after effects of that burn 24/7 while simultaneously having them in the washing machine with the vibration coming up from the soles of my feet up through to my calves. It is like walking on a board barefoot full of 16 penny nails 24/7. The only thing I can say is that it feels like a toothache in my arms and legs. That's the only way I can describe my pain. Without pain management, these are all different people, by the way, these are all individual ones. Without pain management, I would be unable to get out of bed. The pain feels like lightning bolts, severe sunburn, and numbness all at once and in layers. When I'm asked about my pain, my answer is simple. My legs feel like telephone poles filled with razor blades. If that doesn't get the message across, nothing will. My nerve pain is like being constantly rolled on a bed of red-hot nails, burning, prickling, tingling, stabbing. The mere touch of my child's hand on mine can feel like a 12,000-volt electric shock. I don't know if you let me do a couple more.
How about two more?
Two more, all right. I think you've got the idea. One more. I live with pain, burning, hot, cold, numb, tingly feet, 24/7, 365, trying to concentrate and live life.
Thank you, James. And I know Sojenya and other folks have mentioned this, but please submit your comments to the public docket so that they'll be part of the public record and the summary report as well. Next, we have Tim Murphy. Okay, thanks, Tim. Gary Shrout.
I'll be quite quick because I've had plenty of chance to comment, but I didn't know signing up, so I signed up. One, I'd encourage you to look for the cure. Yeah, you got to treat pain. Totally agree with you. You know, folks that are that bad off, you got to treat them, but please look for the cure. And I think there's some things coming out. And again, what I said before, what drove me up here, please reach out to the Elysium Health guys. I've got a couple articles I'm going to leave with you all. Scientific American and Fast Company magazine. It's where I found out about them. Help them, keep them honest. I have no financial association with them. I'm a completely surprised, caught off guard customer that wound up being positively affected. My life is an uncontrolled multivariate experiment. Is this going to help others? I have no idea. But it sure helped me, and if you guys can help it to help others and things like that and get the cost down, that's awesome. And thank you. I'm impressed. This is an impressive function. Thank you for taking time, and you're telling us thanks for staying here at 5 o'clock on Friday. You guys work here again all week. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gary. Next, we have Pam Schlumman.
Hi, I'm Pam Schlumman. I'm the president of the Foundation for Peripheral Neuropathy, and I do want to echo what everybody said here today. Thank you. I applaud you for selecting peripheral neuropathy as part of the patient-focused drug development initiative. I think we all know the impact that peripheral neuropathy has, not only with the patients here, but their families, the economy, the healthcare economy. So I do want to say thank you. The foundation focuses its efforts on education, funding research. We have a peripheral neuropathy research registry that's going to address, hopefully, some of the very things that everybody's been talking about today. What are the underlying mechanisms that are causing peripheral neuropathy? And then, and most importantly, trying to identify and deliver new therapies specifically for peripheral neuropathy that will help these patients. Because as we know today, we've heard a lot today that much of the drugs that people are taking are not very effective. And I also want to let you know that we did a survey as well. We had over 1,000 responders. We have put some of them, about 590 what I want to say is we did an analysis of the 590 responders, and that information and the results of that survey is on the public docket. So again, thank you very much.
Thank you, Pam. Next, we have Larry Silverberg.
I will be quick. As a family physician, retired for 43 years, a professor of family medicine, teaching medical ethics and professionalism at a college medical school in Philadelphia, what I would like to say is, as patients, you have a right to expect your doctor to communicate with you and to be kind, to be gentle. There is no inconsistency between being highly intelligent and also being very nice. A lot of times doctors, even today, do not handle their patients and listen to their patients. We were talking, Dr. Hertz and I were talking about the patient narrative. It's a very difficult narrative, and so I just want to say you should be expecting of your doctors to be kind, to be open-minded. It's okay if you make a mistake with them or they make a mistake with you. If you can't work with your physician, find another physician. But also work with them. Tell them what bothers you. They are human. They may not have the time. They're under a lot of pressure. Things in healthcare are changing. Learn to communicate and be prepared with your doctors. And thank you again.
Thank you, Larry. And last we have Leslie Levine.
I'll also be very brief. It was estimated that there are over 100 types and causes of neuropathy, and it's really a challenge in to approve a drug for neuropathy for anything other than diabetic neuropathy, because clinical trials by their nature need a homogeneous population of subjects that is of a certain size, and most forms of neuropathy are rare. As a person who's being treated with IVIG, which is only approved for 3 types of neuropathy, and mine isn't one of them, it can be a real struggle for people with neuropathy, since the drug choices are so limited and so many are not on label. Insurance companies are very reluctant to pay for expensive drugs off label. So I know this is not something that the FDA has a whole lot of control over, but I just wanted to voice the issue that when things come up for that might be expanded in their label, that it would be great if you can do what you can to enlarge the indications. Thank you.
Thank you, Leslie. Exactly 10 minutes. I didn't even need to bother anyone today. Now I would like to call Dr. Sharon Hertz to the stand for closing remarks.
Well, this was our second patient-focused drug development experience, and I am glad that we have, as an agency, embarked on this, because this has been another extremely valuable experience. It's always interesting to get responses that you don't expect, which is, of course, the value, because I don't need to hear what I already know. We need to hear what we don't know, and I think that we've gotten some very good information from everyone here in terms of not just the personal experience, but what's important and some areas of need. And so I appreciate that, and I thank you all for taking the time out of your busy lives, in spite of your pain, to come and participate. We appreciate it. We will go over the discussions from today, and we will go over the docket submissions very carefully, trying to get as much information as we can to help move forward the development of products to treat painful neuropathies as much as possible. If you have any comments, please send them to the docket down the road. If you have comments, you can always find us here at FDA, and we're always interested to hear what you're thinking. Thank you.
Before we close up for the day, we do have evaluation forms, which have they been? Oh, okay, they're outside on the table. If you could grab some, and we should probably bring some. Oh, they're on the table. I'm sorry, I thought they were outside on the registration table. If you could please fill them out, and you can just leave them on the table, and please leave the clickers too. They'll do no good outside of this meeting room, so if you could just leave them there, that would be great. Thank you again so much.